think I'm live. Let me get it on my phone. All right. Hey, you guys. When you hop on, say hi. Let me know you're here. Gonna give everybody just a minute to hop on. I know this is not my normal day or my time, and I apologize. I had to reschedule yesterday. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. When you hop on, say hi, let me know you're here. And for those of you that hop on after this point, you can catch the replay when we're done. So we're gonna do a snowman grapevine wreath. This snowman came from Dollar General last year. I don't know if they have them this year exactly like this. I know they had some similar, but this guy did. I did pick him up last year. I'm working with Fox stuff today, and he just keeps getting all dirty. Okay, I'll give him a good cleaning at the end. But we're going to be working on his little stuff here, so we're going to clean it. All right. Now, the grapevine that I chose was one that is really wonky, really thick down here. It's got these big, thick outer branches here, one poking out that I can't really cut down or remove because it's one of the main bindings keeping everything, close and together. We're really thin up here. We have just a few. We have a lot down here. So it's a hot mess. So because of that, we're not going to toss it. We're still going to use it. You're going to find the best way that it hangs. And for this particular one, it's with this big knot right here and this sticking out here, which is good because this is where the bow is going to go. And we've got greenery that's going to go all on this side that's going to camouflage the ugly parts. So it's okay that there's a knot here because that adds character. And I love that. And anything else that's sticking out, just cut off, break off, reweave into, the branches that are still there. And what you don't reweave in, cut off. I call it giving it a haircut. Okay, I do leave some of the little squigglies coming off of it because I like that look. But if you don't, you can totally give it a bigger haircut than I give it. Now, we're going to work on our snowman first. He's already cute as a button, right? And this is like a fleece with, looks like Ole Fun fabric is what they used as a backer. But this is fleece. And the ribbon I'm using is not really fleece, and it's got a fringe edge. So we're going to make this guy match our design better. So I went ahead and did a little bit of work beforehand so we could, get this live done and over with in an hour. I made just a 2-loop bow like this. Okay, basically you take a strip, you fold it in half, find the center again, squish it, and then you've made yourself a bow. And then I just take another strip of the ribbon, run it around the center, and tie it in the back. And that creates your bow, just like that. Okay? Super easy. Now there's a reason that I'm doing this, and I'll explain that once we get a little further along. But there's a point and a reason to making this extra bow rather than just having this. Because I totally, with what I'm using in this ribbon, here, we'll use this because it's already a bow. I could totally just leave him like he is and put the bow here, and nobody's any the wiser. You know, it still looks fine. But there's a purpose to this bow, and I'll explain that once we get to that point. So, my glue, are we hot yet? I forgot to turn my glue on. It looks like we're melted. I turned it on right before I went live. Yeah, we're good. Glue doesn't need to be too hot, really thick and gloopy. You can see I can get a big glop on here. Gloop glob. What do y'all call it? All right, we're going to take this bow and actually first, where's my scissors? Because of the orientation of his thing here, we need to determine if we're going to leave it. We're putting him on the right side, okay? So we have to determine if we're going to leave it or if we're going to cut it off and fashion our own with this. So once we put the bow up, the bow is going to go right here on his side, okay? Once we put it there, the way the scarf hangs doesn't flow, okay? It's on the wrong side. We need the scarf to move over here. So since we're, you call it a blob. I'm glad everybody else uses the same kind of cute terminology I do. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to, you know what? Because it's sewn right here at the top, I'm going to, instead of cutting it there, which might leave an eyesore, I'm going to cut it long and I'm going to fold it back and glue it. That way we've got a nice clean seam there. So we're just going to glue it to the back. So when you see these things in the store, you know, these things being like the snowman, you know, cute little things that you can add to your wreath, but they don't really match the colors. You can always pull off the pieces and put on what does match, okay? You are not stuck to whatever color the manufacturer decided these should be. Now, even though I'm using the same, the same style buffalo plaid, it's a different texture of ribbon and it's got a little bit of a different color. So that's why I'm changing it out. Hi, Carol. The snowman came from Dollar General. I'm going to glue this inner piece down just a little bit too. These are just silicone fingertips that make working with hot glue when you have to pinch it together, you know, to get the seal. Just makes it so much easier. Perfect. Okay, I think that's dry enough. Now this one, we're going to do the same thing. Because I don't want an ugly seam, we're going to cut it a little long and glue it up inside. Just like that. Dollar General's really up in their game, aren't they? They're starting to get some really cute stuff. This year, I really feel like finally all the big box stores like Walmart, Dollar General, that kind of stuff, that they are finally getting on the Wreath bandwagon. Because they're starting to keep stuff that's actually things that we use. All right, get my mind back on track. Okay, so we've cut off his hanging scarf. We've neatly glued the cut pieces up underneath so we have nice clean lines. It doesn't look like we did any doctoring whatsoever. So now we do need to make a scarf. We're going to leave let's see, this piece is about 26 inches long. It was about 28, but we're not going to dovetail the ends. I just kind of rolled the ends to seal off the edge so it doesn't fray. So it was probably more like 28, and then it ends up being 27 inches with after it's rolled. So I'm going to leave one longer than the other because when you're tying a scarf, one usually is longer than the other. So we're trying to keep the same aesthetic. You almost love DG. Yep. Fortunately, I've got one practically in my backyard. I couldn't throw a baseball, but I could probably have my husband hit a baseball and he could knock it into their parking lot. That's how close one is out my back field. But here in the South, you all know that there's a Dollar General pretty much every 3 miles. So, everything okay?
Yeah, we're leaving there.
You're leaving? Okay. Great. Be careful. I'll see you when you get back.
Okay.
Okay. Have fun. My honey went hunting today. He didn't get anything.
There's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. Him and his best friend from work have been planning this for a while. They went out last weekend and got their stands set up and everything. So he was a little bummed he didn't get anything today. All right. So we're going to take this. We're going to put it on this side of him. Now, when I attach him to the wreath, he's going to hang it or sit at a little bit of an angle like this. So I use that to kind of figure out where I'm going to put it. So right here on the edge is where we're going to put that. I need to, you know what, let's just do a zip tie. No, let's don't. What do I want to put this on? How do I want to put this on? Do. Yeah, it needs to be a zip tie. Okay, so I'm going to take something really sharp. I have an awl or an ice pick. You could use a screwdriver or your scissors or anything of that nature. And I'm going to poke a hole in 2 different places here. And I come up from underneath, put my zip tie in, gonna lay that part in, and feed it back through. So basically there's gonna be, you know, something flat to adhere that bow to. There we go. Well, you know, it would help if I put it in the right way. There we go. I had it turned upside down, so when I put the little tip through, it didn't catch. There we go. Okay. So as I am tightening this, I'm going to straighten my ribbon so it sits like I want it. All right. And then just trim that off. Okay. So cute. So now he's got his little, now you're probably asking yourself why I didn't take this off. Just because it gives a good backing and base to this, and you don't really see it once the bow is on. Okay. So we're going to take the bow and we're going to glue it right on top of here. You could always assemble these 2 pieces together and then attach it as one, but I like having more control over where the tails and the bow go, so that's why I did mine separate. But you can totally make it just one step. I'm just going to hold this down for a minute, let it get a good grip. The good thing about using hot glue on felt and this, it's not, I guess it's kind of canvas ribbon, is it really grabs on. All right, beautiful. If you see that your bow is too heavy and it flops forward, just plop some glue on the back and we'll glue it down that way as well. I am going to put these back on. And make sure I'm gluing it down right. I'm just pressing where I put the glue so it adheres really well. That holds your bow where you want it. Okay, so where do we want that one? Right in there. Yay. Okay, so totally different look, still adorable, but now he matches our design. I am probably going to put some stuff up under here to hold that out, but we'll do that later at the end. Okay, now we need to get him attached. So hold him up, find out where you want him and where he connects to the grapevine, where he touches the grapevine. Put your finger there because that's where you want to mark that you need to put an anchor point, okay? Now remember I said he's going to be a little at an angle, so make sure he's at a little bit of an angle. Yeah, that didn't stay real well because I was rushing it. Where, oh where? You've never used glue dots, they're amazing. They're just itty bitty dots of superpower adhesive that holds things where you want it. Oh, and that just stuck to me. Here's what they are, in case you've never seen them. Called glue dots. Come on. Ta-da. And they work just like glue. Just pinch it together between the two pieces and it holds it where you want it. Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. Wait till I get into the real elaborate ones. We've only done simple. That's just because my favorite for Christmas is simple. So plus, I'm trying to teach stuff that's quick and easy that you guys can get your shop stocked to make the most of the shopping season. Once, we're done with Christmas and winter and stuff, I will start doing the big floral designs, and those aren't quite as simple. Well, I mean, they are. I will break it down so it is. But they're not quite as straightforward as these. All right. So now that his bow's not so hangy, we'll go back to what we were doing. So kind of at an angle. So we're going to place an anchor point right about here. Just take your same poking tool, whatever you decided to use. Make a hole. Run your zip tie through. I'm going to lay this down on the table just to attach the little guy. There. Now I hang him back up and we tighten him down. Okay, so he's good there. And then right here, looks like it's going to be, let's do on the side. I feel better back here. Through. There we go. That one went through just a little bit easier. Okay. There we go. I'm going to put one more down here just so he doesn't shake around as much. I did the test shake and he just moves too much. I keep making a hole and I can't see where the hole is. There it is. Ta-da! Okay, so I can go right on that one. There we go. Oh yeah. All right, now we've got them on there good. We're gonna trim off the tails of the zip ties on the back. And then just turn those in. So nobody gets poked and there's no pokey edges. Now, this little hat just keeps going down over his eyes. There we go. Okay, now the stuff that we're going to use today, I've picked two different greens, and I've already done a lot of the separating work to save time. So here's the one pick that we're using, like a cedar, lightly flocked with little bitty tiny pine cones. This is a Napco Imports, but I believe you get this at like Craig Botman, Sims, places like that. And the item number is 40375. So we're using two of those, one that we're going to leave whole, I believe, and then one I've cut down into individual pieces and rewrapped with tape so they stay together. The other we're going to use is this lightly flocked holly with cotton. I don't know if I'm going to leave the cotton in or out yet. I'll know once I get it all on there. We may leave it in, we may take it out. We'll see how it looks once we get it on there. And we're going to use 2 of these. This also came from Craig Bachman, so you could get it at Sims, places like that. And the item number is XX2041. All right, we're going to start with these cedar pieces. I lay them out and I kind of see which ones already fit the shape of the wreath. So if there's one that's kind of going this way naturally, that's the one I want to choose because it just lays better and I have to fight with it less. So I find one that kind of naturally leans that way. I may have to give it a little help, you know, with a little bit of a bend. But if it's already naturally, you know, made in that way, then it's going to lay way better for you. So we're going to put that up here, up at the top. Just like that. We're starting to create the shape of our wreath by laying down this first layer of your greens. So basically with this first layer of greens, you'll see me do this on pretty much any wreath that I make, including the big elaborate florals one. I lay down a base first that creates a line for me to work with. So we just keep moving on in that fashion, finding the ones that naturally lay already the way that we need to place them. Now, I stair step these pieces a little bit. This top one I put in on the top part of the wreath. The second one, I'm going to come in to the outside of the wreath, I should say. And then the second one, I'm going to come into the top part of the wreath. Okay. So I just stair step them out, in, out, in, out, in, all the way down. Okay. If you were to place them all on this outside, you're going to have one layer, the outside layer of this greenery, and then this is going to go on top of it and kind of hide all of that. So you stair step it so everything gets its chance to shine. Now, because this is sparse up here, it may take a little bit of coaxing to get it woven in so it grabs onto enough branches. But once you get your bow attached and everything, you're going to have, you know, something binding all of that. So it's fine. So I typically, in a design like this, put 2 pieces. Oh, gosh, the tape started coming unwound. So hang on. I put 2 pieces up at the top, as I've just done, and then I start coming down the side. Okay, and remember, leave about a fist right here. That's where your bow goes. And my bows, when I put them up here, they're either at 11 or 10. They're never any lower, or at least I really don't like doing them lower. We'll just say that. So we're in, so we come out with this one. Whoop. Lots of glue. I'm going to bring this piece. There's a piece of the grapevine right here that's just really troubling. I'm going to cut it. There. Now I don't have to work around it. This one comes in. I'm usually covered head to toe in glue when I come out of here. Hi, Sherry. So back to the outside. I'm thinking, actually, let's hold off on that one for just a minute. We're going to leave it hanging right there because I don't want to use any more than the 2 picks of each kind. That's all I want to use in this design. So let's go in with our other picks here and get those rocking and rolling. Okay, so this one has kind of a natural curve this way. It's going to go on the top. Remember, all these pieces are wired and can move, so move them. Just like that. Whoop. Let's do this one because it's really expansive. We're going to put it out here because it takes up a lot of space. Let me get that down some. Gorgeous. Right, let's see about adding this big guy next. I need to get the bottom filled in. Just taking the sticker. We all have a love-hate relationship with these stickers, right? Jiminy Cricket, come on. Right, well, I think that's good enough. All right, now we're creating an S design with this, okay? And that's why I didn't really want to cut this down because it's easier to achieve that S design with a big piece that's still got its spine, the main spine here attached. So if you've got your curve going this way, when you come around, you need to make it kind of curve back this way, okay? So when you apply it or attach it to your wreath, I took a nap before I came live, y'all, and my brain is just mush. So when you attach it here to the wreath, give it some shape and give it that S curve, okay? Okay, so it's nice and fanned out. It's kind of got that curved hang to it. So when we put it in the wreath, we need to think about that curve and how it's laying, okay? So about like that. So that's how we want it to lay. You can either glue it or we can zip tie it. I think we'll glue this one, but I'm going to cut it down just a little bit more even. Little buggers. Okay, so this is the way it needs to lay. So right about there. Yep. This flocking is everywhere. I gotta let this part fall off my table just a little bit. Just like that. So you see it's kind of got like an S shape, okay? I don't think that's going anywhere. I can't even push it any further. So then I go through and take some of these greens. I bend some up, I bend some back, just so they're laying in different levels and not all flat. We want to give it depth and dimension. Okay. Now we'll come in with some more of this. We may use one more of these pieces. I'm going to go get one more. I know I said I didn't want to, but I just think it needs one more. Let me get a light. I won't use all of this. I'm just going to use a couple of pieces off of it. So when I pull pieces apart like this, because the tape tends to ravel and they start to fall apart, I retape all of it. You already love it? Well, thank you, Amber. Okay, so give it a little bit of life, pull it apart. We're going to go right in here where it's a little lacking. You know what? Oh, I'm so silly. No wonder I was a piece short. Look, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, told you my brain's mush. Yell at me next time. Say, you left it over there on your glue skillet. Your family's watching as you eat spaghetti. Who else watching with you? I don't know if you followed me when I used to do lives on my business page all the time, but my husband used to do them with me. I've really enjoyed having that time with him. Okay, so now we're going to go through and put in the rest of these pieces. And for these, I'm just going to fill in. And as I put a piece in, I spread it apart and I make sure all the little individual branches in it are turned and facing the right way. Because even though they're bound in a bunch together, they still move as they're being handled. So your daughter's home from college and your husband, he loves to hunt. That's awesome. All right, so this one is going to go down at the bottom. Let's look at it a bit. Oh, so awesome. Yep, yep. All right, we need to trim a little bit of these. See, here's what I mean when I pull them apart and they don't stay together. I just retape them real quick. But pull off all the old tape that is dry and not sticky anymore before you do this. This one down there at the bottom. Some of this needs to go under the bottom and some right here. You don't want it to be too crowded. So if you have to pull a branch or two out, then do so. Flock, flock everywhere. This I think is going to go right back there. You know, I got to have something behind the bow. Y'all know me. That one's not wanting to stick in. Hold that thought. I got glue all over me. We're going to try that one again. there. I think I got it in there this time. Pull the leaf off. I think we probably need to do the bow now to see where we are as far as fullness before we go adding any more, because I don't want it to be too overcrowded. Okay. A little glue everywhere. At the end, when you're done with your design, if you've got glue strings everywhere, just put your heat gun or your hair dryer on low and run over it for a minute, and it'll make all those go poof. Okay. So remember when I said there was a purpose to recreating his bow? And that is because we need to have a line. So if we put a bow here, we need to put something opposite it to give your line or your eye a line to follow. So we have our bow that we're going to put up here, and now we made our bow for here. And at the end, if these are a little, his little scarf tails are too long, just roll them up some. We didn't dovetail these ends. You just scrunch up his little sash like that, so it's more like a scarf. So that's why we did that. So we have our line for our eye to follow, our bow here, our bow here. So if we had left his things hanging here, I mean, it probably might have looked okay, but I think it looks better this way. And we're going to go and fill in more greenery before we're done, but we need to get the bow on. Amber, I was thinking about how I could do that. I think I'm going to use some wire. I got to figure out how I can hide the mechanics. But yeah, something's got to give with his hat because it's too droopy. Maybe I could just take and put a glue dot and tack it right there, and that'll hold it up a little bit. I think that's what we may do. We may use the glue dots. Hi, Linda. It's okay. I am so sorry that I had to reschedule from yesterday. I know you were used to seeing me on that day. It won't happen often, I promise. But sometimes I do. I do have to adjust in, mid-stride. All right, quit fiddling with it, Melissa, and make a bow, right? You just learned something, Amber? Which part did you learn? Okay, so we're going to do a cherry bow. My way on the bow tabber. So we're going to do, where's my measurement? An 8-inch loop, or an 8-inch tail, sorry. 8-inch tail. Let's do, okay, 10-inch loop. Is that going to be big enough? I'm thinking. We may want to do a 12-inch loop. Yeah, I think it's 12. Okay, let's do a 12-inch loop and twist. Another 12-inch loop. Oh, about the bows and the line across? Yes, ma'am. You have to give your eye a path to follow or it gets lost. And that's the problem with a lot of new wreath makers that I see is you have the idea, right? It's just the placement, basically. You know, it's about balance. If you're placing one thing here, you need to place something opposite it to balance it out. And it goes for color, you know, and texture. Okay, so I've got those. I'm going to trim my tail. I don't measure that second tail. I just kind of hold it up to this one and get close. Sometimes I cut them even a little longer so I have more control at the top or at the end with tails if I need to. Okay, so I just stick this into my bow dab right now and it's going to hold it for me. I go ahead and start to form the bow while it's in the bow maker though. So I form the loops, pull the tails where they need to be, make sure my loops are the right size, the same. Okay, just like that. Just like that. See? You'll go back and watch the replay from the beginning. All right, Miss Linda, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll come back later on this evening and answer any questions that anybody has. All right, what are the other ribbons that I was using? Hold the phone, y'all. Let's pull out the ribbons. Because honestly, I pulled lots of different things and wasn't sure which ones I was going to use. All right, so we can use, I'll put this on the top. So if you notice, I've got a 4-inch and a 1.5 inch of the same. This is the bottom of my bow. This is going to be the top of my bow. And then in the middle, I think we're going to do black, then red, no, black, then this checkerboard, then red. I don't think we're going to use the stripe green. I think we're going to use the solid green. I think we're going to use the solid green. And then we've got this. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I think we can make do with this. So for the next layer of the bow, we're going to do the black. And I try, it doesn't always work out that way, but I try not to lay two of the same color next to each other. So since this is our bottom, I would try not to lay the red next. I try to lay, you know, a contrasting color and stack my bow that way. And then the red will go next on top of the black. So 10-inch tail. 12-inch loop. This. And twist. I need some new scissors. Those have goo on them. I think my kids got into those. Ah! Okay. So when I'm building a terry bow in the bow dabra, if I've got loop or tails going this way, when I lay my next ribbon in, I'm going to make loops go that way. So here's my tail. I'm going to make sure a loop goes there. Okay. You know what? I think we're going to put this in there somewhere. I think we're just going to sneak some of this in. Oh, I'm not sure that I like this very much. It's going to have the tendency to unravel a good bit. So do I even want that? I don't even want that. Nope. This is a ribbon I would probably have to use where I just swag it through, because as I was cutting it, it is just starting to unravel on the ends. So that's no bueno. Okay, moving on with the red. Inch tail, 12-inch loop, twist, okay, so we've got loops going this way. This time it's going to be tails. And because I'm straightening and forming the bow inside the bow maker as I go, it just helps it open and lay so much prettier at the end. You know, it seems like a lot of work, but you reap the rewards later. I promise. All right. So now we'll go on to which one we're going to use now. I'm thinking we'll put in, we're going to put in this in the middle. So basically every little 2-loop bow I'm making to assemble this terry bow is 10-inch tails with 12-inch loops. And you can hold your finger down right here in the middle when you're working and pulling and straightening. That way you're not pulling your loops and tails and getting everything all wonky. Okay. Now use all of these. Yes, we need these too. Do I need any black? No, I think we're okay. I talk to myself too, y'all. Do y'all talk to yourself when you're creating? Right. This I'm using because it pulls in some of the green from his hat. And I just love this ribbon. I'm just not holding on to a bow very well today. Okay, let's start that again because I dropped it out of my hand and lost the measurements. So you have full conversations. It happens, it does. Excuse me. I'm glad I'm not alone. All right, so as I, get ready to lay it in, I look and see which way my tails need to go because they have to alternate when you're putting them in here. Okay. When you argue with yourself. That's funny. Do y'all craft with music on? Or do y'all like silence? There it is. I'm like, where did my other ribbon go? All right. So now, this. No, I think I'm going to use black. I don't have black. I don't have black. Oh, I'm out of black. Okay, so we'll use red. I'm out. Oh, you're very welcome, Eloisa. All right, so I've got it all secured now with pipe cleaner, and I did it pretty tight so I can be pretty forceful when I separate the bows and the tails, okay? And I start on the bottom. If you've got a fluff box, that come with your Pro by the Hand or something, go ahead and use it. You can put your bow on there. I don't do a lot of fluffing before I get it on the wreath. I just kind of separate it a little bit so I can see how it's gonna naturally lay, and then I place it. I missed the layer. There we go. So when I'm separating the bow, I pull out and I turn. So I pull and I turn. You can also go down to the center and pinch and twist. Okay, so don't be afraid to move your loopies around. That's why we do a really tight twist on the bow, so you can separate your loops and give them definition. This velvet, crushed velvet ribbon, I don't know, it's not crushed velvet, just velvet. It attracts everything. Okay, so now we've got a lot of crazy tails and stuff going on, but we'll trim them once we get it on the wreath. Hi, Linda. You're okay, honey. We're about 2/3 of the way through. We got a little bit more to go. Okay. So to get this on the wreath, I need to add some length. I'm going to cut a pipe cleaner in half and then just add it to what I already got on the bow. I should have done that before I made the bow, but I didn't. You guys can't see the bow when I'm down here, can you? I really got to work on a better camera angle. I keep trying different things, and this just seems like the best one to give you the best view for what I've got to work with anyway. Work in progress. Okay, so I extended the pipe cleaners just by adding a half a pipe cleaner to the end of each one. And that's how I'm going to attach it to the wreath. Do you get garland? Do you get the garland? If you do, go back to, was it last week? And I showed you how to use garland. And you could use that on a wire frame. Totally, totally. I don't know what the landscape is in Mexico where you're at. My mother-in-law is from Guanajuato, but gorgeous, gorgeous down there. But yeah, you can add garland to the wire frames. Right, I'm not gonna fluff this because I could spend an hour fluffing. I don't know if y'all do the same. So as you can tell, we left our space right here for our bow. And we've got this one wonky piece sticking out of the grapevine that I didn't trim because then the grapevine would fall apart. So we're going to make sure that we can cover that with the bow. Just run it through. There we go. Miss Linda, the snowman came from Dollar General. And we added this part to it. So whatever one you can find, I know they come in different colors, whatever one you can find, if it's not matching what you want to use, just pull those parts off and slap some different color on it. All right, we have just a few more pieces to add and we're going to be done after we finish our bow. So for some of these pieces, I'm going to curl the tails. So the 1.5 inch, you're going to see me curl the tails, okay? The 2.5 inch, I'm going to dovetail. You're very welcome. All right, so see, I left some of my tails a little long, as we discussed, and now I'm going to go back and trim them. But now, because I left them a little long, I can trim them to what my wreath needs, okay? A lot of times you get to this point and you need a little extra coverage on one side or the other. And at least when you've cut your tails a little longer, you give yourself some material to work with. Oh, I just cut that wrong. No, I didn't. I'm losing my mind. Okay, on the 4-inch, we're just going to roll those edges over slightly. We can dovetail the 4-inch if we wanted to, but I'm not going to on this one. These up here and pretty. By rolling, that helps stop the fraying and it gives a finished look. So that's why we do that. We got to get all the colors even. So get this checkered one coming up top as well. So see, we can really manhandle our bow now and pull the pieces around. There it is. So it's just about balancing out the different colors in your bow, okay? So as you're fluffing it, make sure you've got stuff going into every, so think of it as like a split into fours. Like a pizza, you cut half and then half, okay? So you want to make sure that you've got each one of your ribbon or a tail or a loop or a tail in one of those quadrants. So 1, 2, 3, 4, loop tail, or however, okay? So just make sure you're pulling your colors to those 4 quadrants on your bow. And I mean, they don't have to be exact, just eyeball it the best you can. But you don't want all the green pointing to one side and vice versa. So see, I'm able to pull these tails down just a little bit to give a little coverage back here. Oh, that's gorgeous, y'all. Okay, I think we've messed with the bow long enough. We'll move on. Okay, I have to stand back and look at it for a minute and see where we're lacking. Oh my gosh. You know what? Oh, I think we need to come down a little more. My S design is slowly fading away. This just needs to come up, I think. Okay, so we've still kind of got the subtle S. It doesn't have to be a big true S. If you're doing a flower arrangement in a vase or something, I would say yes, try to make it more pronounced S. But for today's project, we're going to call that okay. And all we've used is 2 of these sprays and 2 of these. I haven't put any of that third one I pulled out yet in it. But look how full it is. So since we're a little sparse out here, I'm going to come in with this one out here. Let's see how we're looking. One more piece of this guy. Now remember, y'all, when you're cutting these big steel pieces off, save those, because those we use for wiring and stuff when we're putting big pieces in. So save those pieces. All right. This one I think needs to go up top. Still a little sparse up there. There. We're going to cut this tail just a smidge. There we go. Let's see. How are we looking? Be sparse in there. We could probably use a little more of that flocked stuff there. We've got these little pieces that we're gonna stick in. So I've got 5 little pieces. Just wondering. This piece is one that came out down here a while ago. So I think we're gonna take and put it right up there in the middle and fill in that negative space with that. There we go. There. So that kind of covered the inside a little bit. I think once we add those pieces, it's going to be okay. I'm just wondering, should we do some tails like that coming right here? I'm thinking. I'm just testing something, y'all. I'm thinking we're going to put a little bow there. The red one. Yeah, I need to put all of them in there. I'm just thinking, do I need to put a whole big bow? But I'm thinking I do, but I don't need to put any of this in it because we've got so much of that right there. So, and we've got the 1.5 inch in the tail. So I think we're going to do this. Hi, Marion. Welcome. Okay. How big do I want the loops? Oh, I don't know. You guys, I'm so torn. I'm thinking maybe I'm just going to put some green there. And he needs to come up some. His little bow. Yeah, I don't like it. So we're going to put green there. Sometimes you don't know until you try it. All right, and these are long enough strips. I can still use them. I'll roll them back onto my spools after the live. I won't make y'all watch me do that, but I won't waste this ribbon. Just like, what if, yeah, no. I don't think that's too bad. If I put green one more down and then put that, that might be okay. Eloise, I will see you next week, hun. My normal time to go live is Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Today was just a reschedule. Linda, you agree with the greenery too? Yeah, I don't want it to be too heavy and off balance. So we're going to stick with the green. I got all these little pieces that fell off that I want to incorporate back in. All right. That one extra piece off of that third spray, I'm going to put down here. Okay. Yep, way better. We're probably just going to go ahead and use this since we've got it. I can see some places that need filling in. You know. I just love this greenery so that I bought a whole bunch of it this year. So all right, I'm going to take another piece and put it down back in here. I'm trying to get the red color and the white evenly dispersed so we're balanced. Beautiful. Let me stand back. Oh, yeah. I love him so much. Oh, my gosh. Linda, that is great. Thank you for sharing that. We all need good deals on a glaze skillet. Mine is just an electric skillet, but I got mine on Amazon. I went through two, actually. I got one, and I just couldn't get it to work right. It would go off on me. So then I ordered another one, like an inch bigger than the one that wouldn't work right for me. And I've had it for now 2.5 years, and don't tell, sometimes I forget and leave it on. And it does just fine. Okay, we need some red right in there. I'm going to try to pull in some from this. I'm thinking we're going to add these little balls. I really love these kind of balls. So we're going to put one up there, I think. One up here. Where should we put the other one? Maybe down there. Yeah, let's do that. So for adding something like this, you guys know that I keep this little container full of, like when you snip the ends off of floral branches, you've got all this extra. And I use these as like clips, I guess. Like this. I shape them into a U. Actually, let me see. Is that going to work? You know what? Because this grapevine is so thin, I think I'm just going to wire these just to be on the safe side. If it were a really thick grapevine, I'd have no problems just using those. But now that I look at that, that's awful sparse, and I'm not so sure it'd give good adherence. So we're going to wire. No harm, no foul. Hang on. Okay. Hi, Lori. How are you today, hon? So I know it's one of our cubbies that has these cute little things that help me so much, but they're like a little needle that you thread the wire through, and then you can push it through your grapevine, and it just makes things so much easier. Maybe if Lori's here, she knows the name of who has these and can tell you, but they're just amazing little things. Oh, Stan, cooperate with me. All right, so we got one in there, and then we'll just take our greenery and form it back around. No harm, no foul. Cotton is really angry. It's getting stuck on all these pieces. So if your cotton ever starts to come out, just kind of squish it in your fingers and stick it back into the little pods. And it works just fine. There you go. I may cut that leaf out because I'm not happy with it. Weaver needles. Oh, it was you, Lori. Okay. I bought them from somebody off of Etsy. So I don't know, but they're amazing. I think it comes 3 to a pack. They're different colors. But yeah, I just absolutely love these. All right, we're going to put the other one up top. Oh, it's still up there. It's still there, y'all. I just make sure my wire is wrapped around a few of the branches in these grapevine balls. I may have to take this off for this one. It's got to stay off. And just cut it off and take your wire and bend it back up into the grapevine. If your back is a little messy, we'll clean it up with leaves and moss or moss. I always try to keep it as neat as possible, but sometimes it gets a little messy, especially on these loose weave grapevines because you have to use so much glue. So yeah, some of them can get a little ugly. I may have to cut that one with my husband's help later. Sometimes he has to cut things for me. Right. So, oh, got it in the hook. There we go. I just pull the greenery around that ball that we just put in. Let's see. I bought them from Dawn. Okay, I think that rings a bell. Yeah, I think so. They weren't expensive either, so I feel like they were a great deal for what they are. So we're gonna wire this one more ball in, and then we'll add the last 3 or 4 finishing pieces, and we'll be done. Thank you, Donna. I'm thinking we are too heavy right in here. I'm going to push some of this to the back. So when you're looking heavy in a section, you can either cut pieces out or you can fan out the pieces that you have. My problem is this big piece that I put in the bottom. I really need to zip tie it down. Where are my zip ties? Okay, where'd you guys go? You're hiding. Because I just dumped them all on the other side of my table. Glorious. Oh, come on. In the world. Okay. Let's see. That's all twisted. Now, that'll help the situation. Hold that into place. I didn't realize that was what the problem was. Okay. Now we're golden. Now that's holding that in place where it should be. I knew there was a problem. Not one that we can't fix. Just make sure you're turning these holly leaves to the right side so you're not showing that funky back side. There we go. That's way better. I need red right in there. So this ball, we're going to put right down here, I think. My hat brim won't allow me to get my head all the way in there. Where's my baby? And I'm going to put this a little bit behind the snowman, not sitting in front. All right, better. Let's get his little thing situated. What do I need to do to make his thing sit? I need to glue it over here, don't I? Yep, right there. Hot, hot, hot. Beautiful. We want this other side of the bow to kind of curve around a little bit. We don't want it sticking out. So we're going to glue it down a little more too. Okay. Now we've got all these little buffalo plaid covered pieces that I pulled out of a different spray. Where did it go? I just dropped one on the floor. Where'd it go? I gotta have 5. Oh, it's way under there. Hang on. Yay. Okay. Now, so I've got 3 little ones and 2 big ones. So we need to figure out where they'll make the most punch. I like a big one right in the middle. That's going to fill in that negative space right there that looks like it just needs something. I'm just doubling up the end of this a little bit like that to kind of give some substance for me to put glue on. I'm not going to put it flat. I'm going to let it sit out a little bit from the wreath. Okay. So I didn't like squish it all the way into where it's sitting on top of the grapevine. I can put my whole hands back there. So I want it to stand up. Hi, Casey. How are you, hon? Right in there, we've got one. So basically what I'm doing with these pieces is just filling in the negative space and evenly dispersing the buffalo plaid color throughout. You know what? I've got more of these. I may pull just a few more because I like it. And I'm going to use a few more. I didn't care much for these sprays, so I didn't mind picking the grapevine ball, or these covered balls off of it. Buffalo plaid balls, that's what I mean. I think my family's back home. Well, see, they're just coming right apart. All right. I'll use that green and something eventually. Thank you, Casey. Glad you stopped by for a minute. Hope you're having a good weekend, hon. All right. So what else do we have here? Put one up here. Oh, they had more. Yay! Is this not a great husband, y'all? He goes to Walmart and look what he brings me. Thank you, baby.
Yeah.
Will you set them on the other side of the table for me?
I bought Logan some bullets.
What kind of bullets?
The Nerf bullets.
Oh, the Nerf ones.
I scared the shit out of them.
Why?
So, headed out on 94. They had road work going on.
Uh-huh.
And they had temporary lights going on.
Oh, no.
And there was a semi that was coming our direction. And Logan's
Uh-huh.
like, Dad. And I was like, oh my God, brace yourselves.
Oh, honey, you didn't.
I couldn't help it.
You are so mean.
I couldn't help it. And then he broke down in tears and I felt bad.
You better go cuddle that boy.
I got him Nerf bullets.
Hey, Bubbers, would you get a toy too?
He bought it with his own money.
That's right. You got birthday money, didn't you? Guys, this is my oldest, Hayden. Say hi. Camera's up here. Hey. Hi, everyone.
Right. Get the
Yeah,
scissors are in the kitchen.
Okay. Here, y'all can take these and clean whatever goo y'all got on them off. Yeah.
So,
Shame on you, Daddy.
I'll see if I got any comments on that.
Oh, there's not really
Oh, no,
anybody
really?
on here right now.
Oh.
This is not my usual time.
So yeah, I thought you did.
Well, I rescheduled from
Yeah.
yesterday. Excuse me.
Sorry. Yeah, I was trying calling you to let you know that they had it and see if you want me to get them. And I was like, yeah, I'll get them anyways.
Oh yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yes, get them.
They were the last two. There was one more, but that thing was.
Oh, it looked bad.
It holds bullets right here and
All right.
pistol. And these are pockets.
Okay, you get scissors. Here, take that inside.
Put one back here. One more little piece. Do we want it coming out of the bow? Will it look okay? I don't know. Let's try. No, it don't look right. I think, ladies, we're going to call him done. He's adorable. I'm going to have to glue him all the way down because he's not staying in that one spot. So if I don't tack him all the way down, he's going to be angry. Ow. Stuck my finger right in it. Here's my tips. You like him, Linda? I think he's adorable. Love, love, love. You'd never know that we changed out his bow. Made him look more handsome. So I'm just pinching the pieces of fabric together that I'm trying to glue. It mashes the hot glue into the fibers and helps it latch on. I was just trying to tack the one corner and it wasn't staying for me. I have to do major tacking. And I have to hold it. You need to find a Dollar General. Where are you, Linda? For you to say that, I'm going to say you are not in the South. Let me check his side here. Make sure it's going to stay. No. Same scenario. I got to do the whole thing or it's not going to stay. You're in Virginia? Huh. I thought they had Dollar Generals in Virginia, but maybe that's just a bit too far north. I wouldn't think, but Dollar Tree is big where you are. I see. All right. Now, I think he's good. Let's give him a quick dust off. my glue dots. We're going to take the glue dots and try to, you're outside DC. Well, that would be why. I've been to that area. I lived in Harrisonburg for a little while. So I've been all around up in there. I'm going to take a little glue dot and put it here. And then press it in. And voila. I'm going to put one more just to help that one out. So just like the hot glue, I'm pressing it into the fibers so it gets good adherence. And there we go. Whee! Now no more problem with his hat covering his eyes. I need to put this anywhere. Yeah, it needs to be coming out back here. Now at the end, I just take all the little pieces that are laying around my table. And if, you know, there's an empty spot, I fill it. Just like that. What else do I got laying loose here? Those two pieces. These are not loose. Okay, so I've got those pieces right there. Maybe that can go in the back because it's tall. Like right here, maybe. One more. You love him. Aw, I'm so glad. So glad. I don't know if I'm going to use these or not. Yeah, why not? I'll just stick them in the back. Just stick them in the back. There we go. Excuse me. All right, ladies. Just fluffing the bows I squashed. That's all. All right. Ta-da! He's so pretty. Do y'all have any questions? Here, if I hold him up, can y'all see him better down here? Let me hold him up for you. Trying to show you all of that we've hidden all the mechanics. All right. Here we go. I guess that's it, guys. I'm gonna wrap him up. And I guess I'll see you guys next Friday, my regularly scheduled day. Today was a rescheduled day, but I'll see you next Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The thin buffalo check I got from my local store that does not have a website, but I'm pretty sure you can find that anywhere, like on Craft Outlet or, you know, maybe even Hardworking Mom. Maybe Lori's got some in her shop. I haven't looked, but it's a pretty common ribbon. The number, the SKU on it is RG08044MA. So RG08044MA. And it's a 1.5 by 10 yards. All right. I will see you lovely ladies next week. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend. Bye. Where's my remote?